What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the Queen Mary and everything you need to know about the reopening of the Queen Mary. And also, I just want to go over why save the Queen? Why is the city of Long Beach holding on to the Queen Mary? And I'm going to get into that in a bit. And the answer might surprise you. So this right here is actually one of the lifeboats that they took down from the Queen Mary. Now, these lifeboats were removed from the side of the Queen Mary because it was actually pulling on the side of it, you know, the Queen Mary plus the salt water weakening the sides of the Queen Mary. So they had to take a lot of these down so the weight wouldn't be continuously pulling on it. So this is one of them right here on the ground right here, and you can actually see that there's one. There might be a couple other ones somewhere that are still up on the boat. Anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked. That's not what I'm out here for. I'm out here for what I said at the beginning of the video. And first I want to get into why is Long Beach even spending all this millions of dollars on this boat? Why don't they just scrap it, get rid of it, and not worry about it ever again? Let's say you own this boat, okay? You own this ship. You own this beautiful queen, okay? And it's costing you millions of dollars, okay? We're gonna put you in the city of Long Beach shoes. This thing is costing you millions of dollars to fix it up and to have it safe for people to come back on. You have two choices. Choice number one, you scrap it. Choice number two is you keep it, okay? But choice number one isn't cheap. Choice number one is scrapping it, getting it pulled away from the bay here in Long Beach and scrapping it, basically taking it apart. And whatever you do with the metal, I don't know. Now, the first one, it's gonna cost you over $100 million just to do that. Number two is keep it. And for roughly about the same amount of money, you will be able to reopen the Queen Mary and its history. On top of that, the first option, you have to pay it all up front. Who has $100 million? The city doesn't want to spend a whole $100 million at once. But option two, you are over time paying that over $100 million. Plus, you get to reopen the ship and make a little bit of money back. So option two is a no-brainer. If you think otherwise, I can't help you. So first, there are two entities in this. There's the city of Long Beach, and then there's the port of Long Beach. And basically, without getting too deep into the story and how this is happening, because that would be very boring, the port of Long Beach has come to an agreement with the city of Long Beach for the port of Long Beach is going to give the city of Long Beach $12 million, and now that's going to help the reopening of the Queen Mary. I will leave a link down below if you don't understand what I'm talking about. I think this article explains it much better than I can, so I'll leave that link down below if you want to know more about that. Now let's get into what everybody has really clicked on this video. If you clicked on this video, this is probably what you clicked on it for, and that is the reopening of the Queen Mary. Now, the Queen Mary has been partially reopened already. There has been tours, free tours, mind you, that you can go online and you can get the free tour. I tried to get the free tour. However, it is really tough to reserve those spots because they're taken like that. I mean, the minute that they go up, they get taken. So I haven't been able to do that. But here's the good news. The Queen Mary is going to start allowing guests, paying guests, back on the ship sometime in May. Now it's quoted that it's going to be on the 12th of May, But I was just told by one of the people up front that probably know a lot more than I do. She said take that with a grain of salt, because it may not be May 12th. It may be pushed back. But as of right now, as the recording of this video, that is what it's predicted is May 12th, which is, what is that? That's not even a week away. That's like less than a week away. So they're going to start allowing guests back on. Now that 12 million that I talked about earlier is going to allow the Queen Mary to hire people, hire staff to accommodate for all the guests. And also it's going to help out with a couple other issues that the Queen Mary is having as far as like damages needing to be repaired. Now, continuing on with the reopening, here's another important date that you need to know is June. They are going to, about mid-June, they are going to have an official grand opening of the Queen Mary. Now, I don't know what all that entails. I don't know what's going to happen. What are they going to have bands and everybody can come on board and pay a little bit of money? I'm not sure of the details of that. Sounds like that is also to be taken with a grain of salt, because they're not 100% sure on that. But there is going to be a proper grand opening for the Queen Mary. Now here's the last date that you're gonna have to know. Again, taken with a grain of salt. This might be a little bit of a pun from what I'm about to tell you, and that is the restaurants are going to reopen. So even if you don't come on the ship for the tour, you just come on the ship for the restaurant. Those are going to reopen to the public for people to come by. I guess there's some kind of a brunch they do on weekends. That's going to open sometime in July. I think it was July 8th that they said that was going to start. But hopefully these are good idea, a rough take for you guys to understand when the Queen Mary will be open for you to re-enter and enjoy the history of the ship. So here are the last things that you need to know about the Queen Mary. They right now are already giving out tours of the Queen Mary. They cost money. I can't remember exactly how much. It's not too much actually, and I do want to take one. I'm gonna come back and take one of these weeks, because I need to get on this ship. I've been waiting for 3 years. This thing's been closed for 3 years. When I moved here, it was already closed. But the good news is it is open for tours, and there's 3 different types of tours. One is a history tour, kind of take you through and talk about some of the history. The other one is an engine tour. Basically, you go down into the engine room, the steam room and such, and you check out all that. And the other one is a haunted tour. So I'm up in the air on which one I want to do. I think the haunted tour would be nice. I'm not a big believer in haunts or anything, but I think it's still fun to think about. So I don't know. I'm not sure which one I'm thinking about. Maybe I'll do all 3 of them eventually. Who knows? Now this here is this is a Russian submarine. It's called the Scorpion Russian submarine. This was supposed to be scrapped months ago. Sometime late last year, it was supposed to be scrapped. That fell through, and it's still here. So I don't know what they're gonna do with it. But if you ask me, it still looks pretty freaking cool. I love it. There is no doubt in my mind that this thing is rusting away. I mean, you can see the deterioration of this, of the submarine. But it just looks so freaking cool. But that salt water is really taking a toll on this thing. City of Long Beach looking as beautiful as ever. So now we come to the last thing I actually want to talk about, and that is, well, it kind of has to do with the old English British shops here, and that is that Long Beach plans on developing the 43 acres around the Queen Mary, and that development, they're gonna go to town. They're gonna, you know, put in hotels. Now this is also, got to take it with a grain of salt, because this is not set in stone. Things like this have gone into kind of idea stage and then gets dropped. But this time I feel like maybe it'll go through. So if that does, the old European, England, British shops, whatever these things are called, which have been pretty much abandoned for many years, they'll probably have to go away. Probably have to be torn down to make room for the hotels and whatever other development that they want to do around the Queen Mary. For you history buffs, you probably already know this, but for some of you, you might not know this. This dome here used to house the Spruce Goose. Spruce Goose is a big aircraft that was to ship over troops for World War II. It only flew once right here in the waters of Long Beach, above the bay here in Long Beach. Flew one time, only once. They never used it. But yeah, this dome used to house the Spruce Goose. These were called the old London shops. So anyway, I didn't go over too much history in this video. If you want that, check out this video over here, because it has more history. Too much to talk about to go into history today, so check that video out for the history if you want to know more about any of this. And I did a video on this too, so there's at least 5 other videos you can go check out about this area. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys.